In 1912, Greece and Bulgaria were allies. They were fighting the same enemy, and yet behind the alliance, their armies were effectively racing toward the same prize: Thessaloniki. Whoever controlled this city would gain far more than a port. They could gain leverage over Macedonia, access to the Aegean, and a powerful advantage in deciding what the post-Ottoman Balkans would look like. And the most important turning point wasn't actually a major battle for the city. It was who got there first. Since the conquest of 1430, Ottoman Selanik served as the administrative capital of the Salonika Vilayet. By 1912, it had evolved into an integrated material system. Late 19th century port and railway developments transformed the city into the principal gateway, connecting Aegean and Mediterranean shipping to the Macedonian interior, the vast territory stretching behind the coast. Rail lines extending to Skopje, Monastir, and Belgrade made the city the primary logistics corridor for southeastern Europe. This infrastructure carried more than trade. It supported rapid troop movements, military supplies, and telegraph communications directly into the Balkan interior. Within the city lived Sephardic Jewish, Muslim, Greek Orthodox, and Slavic-speaking communities whose identities rarely fit into neat national categories. Control of Thessaloniki was never a matter of mere prestige. It was a matter of securing the physical transport networks that held the region together. Following the 1878 Congress of Berlin, Greece and Bulgaria intensified their campaigns to win the loyalties of Ottoman Macedonia. Greece grounded its claims in ancient and Byzantine history, using the network of the Ecumenical Patriarchate and Greek-funded schools to support Greek identity. Bulgaria relied on the Bulgarian Exarchate, established in 1870, to expand Slavic language education and religious communities across the region. But local allegiances were rarely clear-cut. Under the Ottoman millet system, the empire classified its subjects by religion rather than language or ethnicity. This meant a Slavic-speaking peasant might register with the Greek Patriarchate, while political loyalties shifted by village. Language, faith, and identity overlapped constantly. The competing demographic maps published in Athens and Sofia were not neutral records of the population. They were aggressive political arguments designed to claim future borders. In 1893, the Internal Macedonian Revolutionary Organization, or IMRO, was founded in Thessaloniki, deploying armed guerrilla bands across the countryside to enforce Bulgarian influence. Greece responded through the Macedonian Committee, funding its own armed networks. This covert war erupted openly during the 1903 Ilinden Preobrazhenie uprising. Ottoman reprisals were severe, but they failed to halt the violence, which peaked between 1904 and 1908. Local schools and churches became militarized outposts. Armed bands on both sides pressured priests, teachers, and village elders to alter their community affiliations at gunpoint. Though the 1908 Young Turk Revolution briefly paused the bloodshed, the decades of rural terror had already transformed the future of Macedonia into a high-stakes race for physical survival. In October 1912, long-standing regional rivalries were temporarily set aside as Greece, Bulgaria, Serbia, and Montenegro formed the Balkan League, declaring war against the Ottoman Empire. Their coordinated offensive fractured the Ottoman defenses on multiple fronts. Bulgarian armies swept east through Thrace, while Serbian forces pushed south into Kosovo and central Macedonia. Simultaneously, the Greek army marched north from Thessaly as the Greek navy seized control of the Aegean Sea. While the Allies shared the immediate objective of destroying Ottoman power, they had failed to draft any agreement on how to divide the conquered territories. Macedonia and its grand prize of Thessaloniki lay directly in the path of competing national ambitions. With no settled map, the alliance began to fracture, transforming their joint military campaign into a direct race to create physical facts on the ground. On October 9, 1912, the Greek army of Thessaly broke through Ottoman lines at the Battle of Sarantaporo. This victory opened the road deeper into Macedonia, but it also triggered a sharp strategic dispute at the highest levels of Greek leadership. Crown Prince Constantine, commanding the army, favored a push northwest toward Monastir, today Bitola, to secure the military rear and destroy the remaining Ottoman forces. Prime Minister Eleftherios Venizelos saw a different priority. He knew Bulgarian forces were already marching rapidly toward the coast. Venizelos insisted that the army pivot northeast toward Thessaloniki, arguing that physical occupation of the port would provide indispensable leverage in any future peace negotiations. The debate intensified as the army advanced. On October 19th, Greek forces clashed with the Ottoman army again at Giannitsa. The two-day battle cleared the last major geographic obstacle to the coast. With the route to Thessaloniki open, the race against the Bulgarian army had officially begun. Inside the city, Ottoman commander Hasan Tahsin Pasha faced an unsustainable defense. On October 26, 1912, under the Julian calendar then used in Greece, corresponding to November 8 under the Gregorian calendar, Tahsin Pasha signed the official surrender protocol, transferring Thessaloniki to the Greek army. Greek forces immediately marched in, establishing a military and civil administration without a major battle for the city's streets. Only hours later, on the morning of October 27th, Bulgarian forces reached the outer perimeter. Although both armies were still technically allied, their competing national interests had now collided. The Bulgarian command requested a joint occupation, which the Greek leadership flatly rejected. While Bulgarian observers later speculated how a swifter advance might have altered Macedonia's destiny, this remained an unresolved counterfactual. The documented fact on the ground was Greek physical control of the port, the railways, and the local administration. For Sofia, missing the chance to occupy Thessaloniki instantly shattered its grandest strategic ambitions for Macedonia. A Bulgarian-controlled port would have opened a direct gateway to Aegean and Mediterranean trade, establishing a secure supply line to project political influence far into the territory behind the coast. Instead, physical Greek possession reduced Bulgaria's diplomatic bargaining power to almost nothing. While Athens used its administrative and military control to lock down southern Macedonia, Sofia's regional position collapsed. With Ottoman power largely defeated, the shared enemy that had bound the Balkan League together was gone, leaving the former allies face to face over a highly contested map they could no longer peaceably divide. Sharp disagreements over the division of Macedonia quickly shattered the fragile Balkan League. To protect their newly won territories, Greece and Serbia signed a defensive alliance in May 1913. Bulgaria responded on June 29th, launching a surprise attack on Greek and Serbian positions. The Second Balkan War had begun. Bulgarian planners expected a swift victory, but the offensive triggered immediate, coordinated counterattacks. Bulgaria's strategic isolation deepened rapidly. In July, Romania intervened from the north, marching toward Sofia. Simultaneously, the Ottoman Empire seized the opportunity to cross the mid-Thracian border, reclaiming the lost stronghold of Adrianople. Facing four separate adversaries across multiple fronts, the Bulgarian military found itself fatally overextended. The race for regional dominance had collapsed into a multi-front campaign of encirclement, leaving Bulgaria completely isolated and unable to defend its claims. On August 10, 1913, the signing of the Treaty of Bucharest translated military conquest into permanent international law. The diplomatic settlement codified a new map of the Balkans based strictly on the physical positions of the competing armies. Greece secured formal ownership of Thessaloniki and the surrounding southern Macedonian districts, locking in its primary strategic objective. Serbia acquired the vast territory of Vardar, Macedonia, while a defeated Bulgaria was restricted to Pirin, Macedonia, and a narrow strip of Aegean coastline further east. Through these sudden shifts, Greece expanded its national territory from 64,000 to over 108,000 square kilometers, nearly doubling its population from 2.6 million to over 4.3 million. Yet, while joint border commissions began tracing these new frontiers on the ground, the peace remained fragile. Sofia's sharp dissatisfaction, with its weakened regional standing, guaranteed that the settlement would remain unstable. As the dust settled, a fundamental question remained. Which mattered most in 1912? Historical claims, military strength, or physical control of strategic territory? In 1915, the outbreak of the First World War reopened the struggle for Macedonia. Bulgaria joined the Central Powers, driven by a singular objective: reclaiming the territories lost in 1913. Thessaloniki quickly became the logistical anchor of the region, serving as the main base for the Allied Salonika front. Here, French, British, Serbian, and Greek forces built a massive military hub. The protected Aegean port, combined with the rail lines leading north, sustained hundreds of thousands of troops operating deep in the Balkan interior. In September 1918, a decisive Allied breakthrough in the Vardar sector collapsed the front, forcing Bulgaria's defeat and proving that control of the port still dictated the fate of the peninsula. The military campaigns immediately uprooted the civilian population. Beginning in 1912, the shifting borders of the Balkan Wars forced massive flights and expulsions, scattering Muslim, Bulgarian, and Greek families who had lived together for generations. World War I intensified this instability, followed by the Greco-Turkish War of 1919 to 1922. The subsequent 1923 compulsory population exchange between Greece and Turkey forced hundreds of thousands of Greek Orthodox refugees from Asia Minor to resettle in Thessaloniki and rural Macedonia. This massive influx permanently rewrote the region's demographics. While the local Muslim population was forced to leave, the historic Sephardic Jewish community faced a separate, challenging path of economic decline. The ancient, fluid world of overlapping languages, faiths, and local loyalties was swept away, replaced by a demographic map aligned with new national frontiers. The 1919 Treaty of Neuilly stripped Bulgaria of its direct Aegean coastline, cementing Thessaloniki as Greece's major northern port and gateway to the Balkan interior. Following World War II, the two states established peaceful relations, recognizing their international border. Today, they share memberships in NATO, which Greece joined in 1952 and Bulgaria in 2004, and the European Union, which Athens entered in 1981 and Sofia in 2007. With no modern territorial conflict over Thessaloniki, North-South Balkan transport routes connect the Bulgarian economy directly to Aegean shipping. The strategic value of Thessaloniki has shifted from exclusive military control to connection between neighboring economies. Subscribe for more documentaries about how wars, empires, and geography created today's borders. Today, peaceful commerce replaces the march of rival armies. Yet, Thessaloniki remains a stark reminder of how rapidly neighbors become competitors when geography offers only one prize. In a changing geopolitical landscape, physical control still dictates political reality, proving that the maps of tomorrow are always written by those who move first.